Hawkeye. Hawkeye, this is next for the MCU's TV shows, which, they are kind of pumping out as much as the movies, which I didn't think would be the case, but they've really got the machine churning, and obviously they've got more set ahead in the future that we've already heard about. Now, this is the fourth one they've done. They started off with WandaVision, then they did Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then they did Loki. And I would say each one has got progressively better than the one before. And that's not a case of it's like good, great, amazing, spectacular. It's a case of like WandaVision fell off the rails, I think, by the end. Falcon and the Winter Soldier had the middle episodes were really good, but the beginning and end were a bit meh. And then with Loki, that was a show that started off a little bit slow, but as it reached its climax and you see how influential it's going to be in setting up future MCU movies, the Phase 4, maybe it's Phase 5 now, I'm not even too sure. That's what made it such a great show. That's what made it even cooler. And the fact that it kind of explored, new things. Now we are at Hawkeye. Will it continue the trend of, each series being better than the last? I'm not sure. They've released episodes 1 and 2 the other day. Just came out, and it's going to be 6 episodes like they've done for the previous 2 TV shows they've done. Obviously, they did 9 for WandaVision, but they've dropped it to 6. And 6 seems like a good number. It seems like you can tell enough of like a short story in that time. It's like the length of 2 movies. So you can say what you need to say in 6 episodes. Now, like the other Marvel TV shows, this is set after Endgame, and it's sort of telling a character's story after Endgame. What's going on with them now. And for us now, it is Clint Barton, who is of course Hawkeye. Now, despite the show being called Hawkeye, which makes you think it's going to be about Clint Barton, he seems like a secondary character so far. It seems more about this new character, Kate Bishop, who seems like she's going to be his prodigy, the next thing, the guy to replace, well, the girl even, to replace Hawkeye. Maybe hence why the show is called Hawkeye, because it's not about this Hawkeye, it's about a new Hawkeye. Now, no offense to Clint Barton, but he's always been the guy in the Avengers team, sort of like Natasha, they don't have powers, they're just very good soldiers, and they're very useful. They are a crucial part of the team regardless. That's not me shitting on them in any way. They are still needed. But obviously, now that this is his own TV show, it's not going to be anything sort of too big, too alien, because he's Clint. Yes, he's very good at what he does, but at the end of the day, he's a mortal man who's good at fighting, and he's good with a bow and arrow, but it's kind of where it stops. He can't do anything above and beyond and super, so to say. And because of that, the plot and the villains and stuff, they aren't going to be large scale either. They're not going to be some big threat. So it doesn't surprise me that they kind of went along this route of, you've got this character, Kate Bishop, who is similar to Hawkeye because she's good with a bow and arrow, and she knows martial arts and stuff, and she accidentally gets herself involved, with like a criminal conspiracy and, the Ronin suit, which is what kicks it all off, and that's what gets Clint involved. Now, it is cool that they were touching upon the whole Ronin thing, because obviously it seems like Clint in this, when we do see him, he's trying to like forget that, and he's trying to be a good dad again. Like now he's got his family back. He's being a proper, friendly father. He's trying to be there for him, and he's trying to forget kind of what he did between Infinity War and Endgame, which was 5 years. He lost his family, and he became Ronin, who was just sort of, he was killing bad people, but he was still like a brutal murderer. But by the sounds of it, and by the little segments that we saw sort of near the start of Endgame. And honestly, when the show was first announced, I thought maybe that would be the area they would explore, like the 5 years in between, where he didn't have his family, where he was Ronin, where he was someone that, a side we haven't seen to him before, not really. And I think that would have been a good thing to see if they'd made the show about that. But obviously they've gone following the theme of going after Endgame and continuing on the stories, either trying to phase out characters or set them up for new things. At the moment, this seems like they might be trying to phase out Clint and then replace him with Kate Bishop, but I'm not sure. Obviously, you don't know where it's going to end up, but so far that's kind of it feels like that's what they're doing. Now, in all honesty with this show, so far I'm not completely convinced. It's not bad by any means, but I can't say that it has my full attention. I did find myself, my mind does wander sometimes, when I'm watching stuff, if it's not that that gripping. We spend a lot of time with Kate Bishop, and I did like the segments where she's, in the action, working with Clint, or even just when she's, first gets the Ronin suit and she puts it on, and then, people think she's Ronin and she's having fights and stuff. I thought that was fun, but the whole family side of it, the family drama, I don't find it that interesting. It doesn't feel like it's pivotal to her character, even though they're trying to make it seem that way. Like, it doesn't seem like the relationship with the mother and the stepdad is really going to be all that influential to... Like, yes, I get it does... It gives her these personality traits, but it's just not all that interesting. And it's not the side of her I think we're really curious to see. We want to see how she's going to be influenced by Clint, who is someone that she's looked up to since she was a kid. And this is no discredit to performances, of course. The performances are good. From the actress playing Kate Bishop, from her mother, who's played by Vera Farmiga? You'll recognise her. I think she's been in those horror films, was it The Conjuring or something? And then the stepdad as well, he's in Better Call Saul. I can't remember his name. I feel like it's Dalton. Tony Dalton. I could be way off there. I'm just guessing, but I feel like that's his name. He's a good actor as well, and obviously you've got Jeremy Renner playing Clint. You've got some good cast in here, but like I said, performances aren't the issue. It's just the plot itself, and where they're sort of designating the time and the story they've chosen here. I mean, personally, so far I feel like there isn't enough Clint. This is a show called Hawkeye, and at the moment Clint is Hawkeye. All right, maybe it'll become this Kate Bishop girl eventually. But at the moment, it's Clint. And I feel like we're not getting enough time with him. He's the star of the show, but, the whole first episode is pretty much her. And then the second episode, you get more of Clint, but it's probably still a little bit more her. And we're at least a 50-50 split. And I want Clint. We all like Clint, even though he's not like, someone with superpowers. Or, he doesn't have an Iron Man suit, and he's not Spider-Man, he's not Captain America. He's still someone that we all like to see. We're all big fans of him, from the Avengers films. So it's a shame we're not getting more of him. And like I said, I get the impression that this is just going to end up being him handing over the crown to her, in a sense. Him letting her take her place. So maybe that is what they're going for, but either way, more Clint would be better. And I do think this show should have been set between Infinity War and Endgame, and I think it should have been called Ronin, and it should have shown that darker side to him, shown something a little bit different, something we haven't seen before. Because I think that's an interesting 5 years. I don't think we've actually seen a movie or TV show yet from MCU that's explored some life during the blip. Everything's just after Endgame or before Infinity War. So, I think that's an interesting area that they probably should have explored, at least by now, and especially with the character of Clint Barton. This is not a bad show, by any means. This is not what I'm saying at all. But I think, it's got some work to do in these final 4 episodes to really make it sort of feel a bit more gripping. Like, the villains, not that gripping at all either. I mean, we don't have a main villain yet, but it seems like they've set one up at the end of episode 2. I don't know, I think she's deaf. I think someone was sign language into her at the end of the second episode. She seems to have a beef with the Ronin, I assume, because her gang has been looking for Ronin, so she's going to think maybe the girl's Ronin, and obviously you've got Clint and Bishop, they're in this warehouse, shit's about to go down, I assume. But, I don't know, just... it needs to get going. First 2 episodes of Loki were a bit slow, so this just needs to get going, and it could be something good. Same with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. First 2 episodes a little bit slow. It really got going in 3 and 4, so we could get the same here. It's all about just seeing where it leads in these last 4 episodes. But it could be good. It could be good. I think it's got work to do, but I'm sure it can do it. They haven't let us down too much with these TV shows. The only one that's let us down, I think, was WandaVision, and that started well and then got worse. Whereas the other ones have started a bit slow and got better. So, we could be on the right track again here. I think they know what they're doing. They seem to be, doing well with these TV shows and getting better with them. But for now, that is Hawkeye. I'd give the first 2 episodes overall maybe like a 6 out of 10. It's just, not great, not terrible. But until next week, episode 3, I will see you then, and I'll see you with some stuff in between. But for now, I'm just Squared. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments as well if you've seen the show. Bye-bye. That was an awkward outro. Look at me, I'm fumbling now. Unbelievable. Leave a like as well. Yeah. See you later.